The year is 1529. Europe trembles. The Ottoman Empire, at the height of its power, stretches from the Middle East to the gates of Central Europe. Leading this unstoppable force is Suleiman the Magnificent, a ruler feared and admired across the world. His armies, hundreds of thousands strong, move west with one goal: to bring Vienna, the heart of Europe, to its knees. Vienna was not just another city. It was a symbol, a gateway into the heart of Europe. Vienna fell, the road to Rome, Paris, and beyond would lie open. On September, the Ottomans laid siege to the city. Cannon fire shook the walls. Soldiers dug trenches and tunnels ready to blow open the gates. Inside Vienna, fear gripped every heart. But the citizens and soldiers fought desperately, reinforcing walls, pouring boiling tar on attackers and striking back with every ounce of strength. At the head of the Ottoman forces was a man who seemed destined for greatness. Suleiman the Magnificent, also known as Suleiman the Lawgiver, was the Sultan of the Ottoman Empire. Born in 1494, he was the son of the great Selim I, who had expanded the empire's borders through conquest and trade. Suleiman inherited a vast realm that stretched from the Middle East to North Africa and Eastern Europe. Standing at the edge of two continents, the Ottoman Empire was poised for more. Suleiman dreamed of taking his empire even further, of reaching the heart of Europe and planting the flag of Islam in the very center of Christendom. He assembled an army that has become a thing of legend, a force of over 100,000 soldiers. Among them were elite Janissary units, fierce cavalry, and well-trained artillery crews, ready to unleash hell on Vienna. As the Ottoman army approached, the people of Vienna knew they were in grave danger. On September, Suleiman's troops arrived outside the city walls. The Sultan watched from a distance, his gaze fixed on the city that would soon be his. The preparations for the siege were methodical and extensive. Trenches were dug, artillery was set up, and supply lines were secured. Day after day, the Ottomans advanced, bombarding the city with cannon fire. But the Viennese held firm, their courage bolstered by faith and the promise of aid from neighboring German states. For weeks the city endured, but the Ottoman cannons were relentless. As the siege dragged on, the situation inside Vienna grew increasingly desperate. Food and water supplies dwindled, and disease began to spread among the residents. Yet still they resisted, fighting on with whatever weapons they could find. Outside the city walls, the Ottoman army grew restless. Suleiman, eager for victory, urged his troops to press their attack. Again and again, waves of Ottoman soldiers stormed the walls, only to be beaten back by the defenders. Despite their smaller numbers, the Viennese were able to inflict heavy casualties on the Ottomans, forcing them to retreat with their tails between their legs. Then fortune smiled upon the defenders. The weather took a turn, and heavy rains poured down on Vienna. The ground became muddy, and the Ottoman cannons, unable to operate effectively in the wet conditions, fell silent. The siege, which had seemed like a foregone conclusion, now hung in the balance. By mid-October, winter loomed on the horizon. Disease spread through the Ottoman camp, and morale began to falter. Suleiman's troops, far from the comforts of their base, were ill-prepared for the harsh Viennese winter. To make matters worse, supply lines were disrupted, and food and ammunition became scarce. The mighty Ottoman army, invincible in many battles before, was on the verge of collapse. Suleiman, realizing the precarious situation, made a decision. On October, after a 3-month siege, he ordered his troops to retreat. The news of the Ottomans' withdrawal brought a wave of relief and joy to Vienna. The citizens, who had endured so much, emerged from their homes to celebrate their survival. The siege of Vienna was not just a military defeat for the Ottomans. It was a symbolic loss that reverberated across Europe. The failure to capture Vienna had profound consequences for the Ottoman Empire, shattering their reputation for invincibility and marking a turning point in their expansion into Europe. The siege became a defining moment in European history, a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure against all odds. Today, the story of the siege is remembered in Vienna, with monuments and statues honoring the bravery of the defenders. And while the Ottomans did not prevail in Vienna, their legacy continues to live on in the history books and in our collective memory. The clash at Vienna was not just about territory, it was about destiny. battle where courage, faith, and the will to survive changed the course of history forever. If you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more updates. Thank you for watching.